This is Mac OS Ken.
A bearish note and a bullish note. Canalys sees iPhones out of the top 5 in China. And a few short hits of Apple TV Plus news. It is Friday, the 26th of July, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by 1Password Extended Access Management, your solution for MDM and identity and access management. Learn more at onepassword.com/product/XAM. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. We went bullish to bearish to start off Thursday. Today we will flip that around. Remember earlier this week when Verizon reported a record low wireless upgrade rate for the June quarter? Wells Fargo analyst Aaron Rakers was unfazed by that news, pinning his expectations on robust upgrades for the iPhone 16 line, likely to launch at the end of this quarter. Thing is, though, it's happened again. A piece from Investors Business Daily had AT&T posting record low postpaid upgrades for the June quarter. That is being seen as problematic by UBS analyst David Vogt. Issues highlighted by the analyst include a challenging growth backdrop for, well, it's either for iPhone or for Apple. It's not really clear in the note, as well as an undefined AI strategy. Worth noting he is on the bearish side where Apple's concerned. He used the aforementioned issues to support his neutral rating on the company's stock and his price target of $190. Now a run with a bull and another higher price target. Seeking Alpha highlights a note from Baird analyst William Power. Like JP Morgan analyst Samik Chatterjee, Power doesn't seem to be expecting a super cycle for iPhone 16 as much as a steady climb for iPhones to come, pushed, pulled, or driven by AI. He and his estimate that close to 95% of iPhones globally, even with the initial focus on the US, will need to upgrade at some point to take advantage of Apple Intelligence, with smartphone upgrade cycles lengthening for years, resulting in a much older iPhone base. Power and his people think the 1 billion plus iPhones globally could be primed for an upgrade catalyst. Of course, the analyst adds, other Apple devices like Macs and iPads should also benefit from the arrival of Apple Intelligence. Mr. Power has an outperform rating on Apple shares. He used Thursday's note to raise his 12-month price target on the shares from $200 to $240. Here's one that does not bode well for current iPhone sentiment. Market researcher Canalys issued a report on Thursday that had local brands dominating the list of top 5 smartphone makers in mainland China for the first time ever. Put a different way, iPhone was out of China's top 5 in the June quarter, at least as far as Canalys can tell. Personally, I would put an asterisk by this for a couple of reasons. First, if they're not inside Apple, they got to be guesstimating. And second, the difference between 5th place Xiaomi and 6th place Apple is wicked thin. According to the firm, 5th place Xiaomi shipped 10 million units, grabbing 14% of mainland China's second quarter smartphone market. While the firm does not say how many iPhones it thinks Apple shipped, they say whatever the amount was gave Apple 6th, with the same 14% Xiaomi had in 5th. Of course, Apple does have a new round of iPhones expected by the end of this quarter, but its biggest selling point, Apple Intelligence, will not be good to go on day one here in the States, and there is no telling how long it's going to take for China. Canalys research manager Amber Liu argues that the localization of Apple Intelligence services in mainland China will be crucial in the next 12 months. Staying in the Middle Kingdom, a piece from Mac Rumors has word of a new testing facility there. Citing a report from Shenzhen Daily, the piece says Apple is opening a new applied research lab in Shenzhen, focusing on enhancing the quality and reliability of its flagship products. The facility will put both materials and production techniques through their paces, testing Apple hardware for durability in extreme conditions like intense physical activity and harsh temperatures. Despite the ongoing diversification of Apple production, the report says putting the lab in Shenzhen is significant due to its proximity to many of Apple's suppliers. An odd story this week out of South Korea. According to a piece from Apple Insider, Apple's Find My won't find anything in that country. According to the report, all iPhones made to be sold in South Korea have Find My permanently disabled. Not only won't it work in the country, but Find My can't even be used if you take your South Korean iPhone overseas. Similarly, the block also applies to iPhone users visiting the country. While iPhones made everywhere else do include Find My, it is disabled once they're taken to South Korea. Why? Yeah, good luck finding that out. Initially, Apple seemed to indicate that it was barred from turning on Find My by local law. Thing is, though, Samsung has something like Find My that's apparently fine in the country. Apple's Find My support page for South Korea plays with words in kind of a funny way, saying location sharing isn't supported in South Korea and may be unavailable in other regions due to local laws. That phrasing implies a legal issue in South Korea without actually stating one. Then there was a petition regarding unfair discrimination against Apple Korea's Find My service for unknown reason. According to the report, Apple has responded by saying Find My is not disabled because it violates the Location Information Act, but because of internal policy. To emphasize the point, Apple is said to have added that the decision is not because of a regional requirement. Which brings us back to the question, what the heck? In the meantime, Apple apparently sells AirTag in South Korea, a device that relies on Find My, which doesn't work in South Korea. What the heck? More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, 1Password Extended Access Management. Anywhere you find people, you're going to find shortcuts. Sometimes it's because they're in a hurry, sometimes it's to get around an impediment, sometimes they're just plain lazy. From parks to processes, if there is a quicker or easier way to get to the end, people are going to take it. No big deal when you're walking, but working, that's different. You've set up a whole system with an eye on productivity and security. Without realizing it, your employees' need for speed could put that security at risk. 1Password Extended Access Management can help mitigate that risk. It puts unmanaged devices, unknown applications, and rogue identities under your control, making sure every user credential is strong and protected, every device is known and healthy, and every app is visible. 1Password Extended Access Management solves the problems traditional identity and access management and mobile device management miss. It is security for the way people work today. It's available now to companies with Okta and coming later this year to Google Workspace and Microsoft Entra. Check it out at onepassword.com/product/XAM. That's onepassword.com/product/XAM. Starting this weekend, 2 gigantic sports things. Well, 1.5 maybe. No offense to soccer, but the Olympics are gigantic. So gigantic, they even have soccer at the Olympics. Well, they got soccer away from the Olympics too. 9 to 5 Mac says the Leagues Cup kicks off today. That puts 47 clubs from Major League Soccer and Mexico's Liga MX head-to-head. Not all at once, though that would be fun. Apple TV Plus is involved, which means a ton of promotion across other Apple services. Things like in-depth analysis in Apple Sports app, dedicated episodes of the podcast Offside with Taylor Twellman, a new guide in Apple Maps showing off every MLS stadium, and new player warm-up playlists in Apple Music. Also, the games themselves. Folks with MLS Season Pass will be able to watch every match, though I think I read that some matches will be offered without a subscription. Please enjoy the festivities. And finally today, Apple TV Plus has hit with a slew of news that's mostly gone under the radar. Running through a few press releases from the Cupertino streamer, there is a new docuseries about K-pop idols coming to Apple TV Plus, cleverly called K-pop Idols. The streamer says the 6-part series offers fans an unprecedented backstage pass to the world's biggest musical phenomenon, with a behind-the-scenes look at the highly competitive reality of K-pop stardom. All 6 episodes hit Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 30th of August. The first German-language show from Apple TV Plus has a premiere date. The company says the dark comedy Where's Wanda will start its run on Wednesday, the 2nd of October. The kids series Camp Snoopy has been picked up for a 2nd season. The description in the Season 2 press release is the same as the description for Season 1. Really, though, what do you expect? It's a kids show. All of Season 1 is available now on Apple TV Plus. No word on when Season 2 will hit. That I would put $5 on next summer. And congrats to the Apple TV Plus bilingual comedy Acapulco. A release from the streamer says Apple TV titles have been nominated for 17 Imagen Awards, which recognize positive portrayals of Latinos in the entertainment industry. I singled out Acapulco because it picked up 9 of those nominations all by itself. The morning show nabbed 2 nominations, with an additional 1 each for Curses, Foundation, Invasion, Jane, Lessons in Chemistry, and Sugar. Imagen Award winners will be announced on Sunday, the 8th of September. Are you like me, fascinated by Apple TV Plus and the streaming scene in general? Honestly, I don't like watching most of it half as much as I like talking about it. To that end, entertainment journalist, film critic, and avid content consumer Scott Mantz joined me this week for the Mac Observer show. Are production costs getting too high? Is Apple TV Plus doing what Apple wants it to do? Can one movie or TV show be a breakout hit, given all the titles being produced today? We talk about all of that, plus Star Trek, because we're both nerds. Find the Mac Observer show wherever you get podcasts, or watch it on YouTube, youtube.com/MacObserver. And this week on the checklist, brought to you by SecureMac. It was sort of surprising when Google announced years ago that it planned to block third-party cookies from its Chrome browser. This prompted a few questions like, what are cookies? Why did Google pledge that? And why did it eventually change its corporate mind? We'll try to answer those questions on checklist number 385, Leaving Cookies on the Table. Find that one at securemac.com/checklist or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me. and sponsored by 1Password Extended Access Management. Learn more at onepassword.com/product/XAM. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.